Welcome back. In this section, we will explore methods to transform data. Transforming the data by renaming tables, updating data types, and appending tables together ensures that the data is ready to be used for reporting. In some instances, this means that cleaning the data up so that similar sets of data can be combined. In other instances, groups of data are renamed so that they are more easily recognized by end users and report writing is simplified. We will start by renaming these tables. So we go to transform data here and press transform data. We minimize this transform file from international examples and go to each of these queries and start renaming them. This remains sales, it's okay. Then product table, we will rename it as only product. We write and click enter. Okay. Then we go to geo and rename it to geography. Okay. Enter. Manufacturer remains the same but with a capital M. And then international sales will be international sales with a space. Okay, so now you see that even in the left part the name is changed. So it is a best practice to provide descriptive query and column names because they will be used in visuals and in the question and answer section of Power BI. So it is better to have a relevant name. The next transformation will be to fill empty values. For example, in the product table, we have a lot of null value in the category column. Okay, you see when the product changes, we have it filled, and then no more. Only when the product changes we have. So what we want is to fill down. We have two options for this. So we select the category column, fill, right click, fill down, or we can go to transform, fill down. And now you see that it has been filled down. And now the column is correct. What this fill down operation does, it takes a column and traverses through the values in it to fill any null values in the next rows until it finds a new value. The next transformation will be to split the columns. We notice that in the product column we have a separation between these words. The product name and product segment are separated by the pipe separator. So what we will do is click the column, right click, split column by delimiter. Okay, and we will choose the pipe operator. We write it here and click OK. And now you see that we have two columns now called product.1 and product.2. So we will go here and rename them. The first one will be product and the second one will be segment. The next transformation will be to split columns using column from examples. We see that in the price column, the price and currency are concatenated in one field. To do any calculations, we only need a numeric value. Therefore, we need to split this field into two columns. We can do it like before with the split and choose the space separator, but we will use a nice feature called column from examples that can be used when the pattern is more complex than simply a delimiter. So we have the column selected. We go to add columns, column from examples from all columns. And here we start to write what we want. We want to get the number 412.13 and we press enter. And you see that the intelligence of Power BI deducted what we want. Okay, if we are satisfied with it, we click OK. And now we want to change the name. We will name it MSRP with the capital P. Okay, and we see that the type is text ABC. So what we want is to right click, change type, and change it to decimal number. Actually, we have two options, decimal number and fixed decimal number. Let's choose fixed decimal number, and now the number of decimals is the same, 2 decimals. You notice here that every step that we made in this query transformation is recorded here. Okay, and here you have the M code. Each step is recorded with a formula. So here is the M language, which is behind Power Query, behind every step. And in advanced scenarios, you can enter here and modify the M language to do complex transformations that you cannot do only from the user interface. For example, if you want to see what is the M language generated until now, you can go to View, Advanced Editor. And here, all the steps from here are here with the M language. Now let's create also the currency column. So we do the same, select the price column, go to add columns, from example all columns, and now we say USD. Okay, and we will call it currency and click OK. Okay, it's text, it's okay. And now that we have the price and currency, we no longer need the price column, so we can just delete it. Right click, remove. The next transformation will be to remove unwanted rows. For example, we go to the geography table and we see that we have these 2 unwanted rows before the name of the column. So what we do, we go to Home, remove rows, remove top rows, and enter here number 2 because we want to remove the top 2 rows. Okay, and now we want to use this first row as the header, the name of the columns. So we go here and say use first row as a header, and now it is correct. Now to make things more visible here, we go to View, and for the moment we don't need this statistical data about the columns. So we just unclick column profile, column distribution, and column quality. Okay. What we can see here in the geography, we see that the zip column is again a whole number, and we want to make it text, so not lose the first 0. So change type to text. Okay, replace column, current. Now let's go to the manufacturer table, and here is a mess. We see that the last 3 rows are not needed. So we go again to Home, remove rows, but this time remove bottom rows. So bottom 3. Now what we notice here is that the columns are on rows and vice versa. So we need to transpose this table. We go to Transform, transpose here. And now we see that we have the correct layout, and what we need now is to use the first row as a header. Go to home, first row as a header. Now we will do another transformation to append queries, because you remember we have sales in two tables. The first one is the US sales, okay, and then we have international sales. But in order to analyze the sales of all countries, it is convenient to have a single sales table. So we will append the sales from international sales query to the sales query. So we go to the sales query, and from the ribbon home we go to append queries. We have the options 2 or more tables. We leave it 2 tables because this is what we will append now. And now we go here, table to append. We want to append international sales. OK. And now you notice that it's an extra column in the sales query country, because the international sales, if you remember, have the extra column country, but here in the USA sales we didn't have it. So we need a way to fill these nulls and to put USA. For this we will use a conditional column, and we say like this. We go to add column, conditional column, okay, and we say like this: if country equals null, then USA. And else we choose country. So if it is null we put USA, otherwise we let the value existing for the country that was brought from the international sales. And what we need to fill is the name of the column. We call it country name. Okay. And now, having this new column, we no longer use this old country column, so we remove it. And now we can rename also this to remain as country. Now let's set the type. We can click directly here and put text. Okay, and here in the revenue I would like to make it with fixed decimal, change type from decimal to fixed decimal to have the same number, 2 decimals. And now we can check that we have the countries here. We click load more. Okay, it is loading. And now we see that we have all the countries. So now that the international sales is appended to the sales query, in order to avoid duplicating data, we should suppress the international sales table from loading into the data model. How we do this? We select the international sales query, right click, and uncheck the enable load. We press continue. And now you see that the name of the query, international sales, is italicized. Okay, is no longer written like the other tables. This means that it is not loaded, so we avoid duplicating data. So now that we made all these transformations, we can view the query dependencies. We go to View menu, Query Dependencies. Okay, we make it bigger, we zoom it. Okay, and now we have all our queries and their source. For example, we see that the sales query have a CSV file source from the US sales CSV file, but also it has a dependency on the international sales query. This is useful information to share knowledge with your team members. We press closed, and now that we made all the transformations, we just click close and apply. And all the data will be loaded in memory in the Power BI desktop. You see here the progress dialog box with the number of rows being loaded in each table. Now, once the data have finished loaded, you can go to File and Save As. Save As, and I save it as with the name the Add Workbook. You can save it with my first Power BI model. Okay, so we save it, and that's all. Now it is ready to be used for the next chapter, where we'll begin data modeling and exploration. See you in the next video.